The big story in this WrestleMania was really not the two championship matches on the show, but the retirement of arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time, Nature Boy Ric Flair. This was one of the most emotional moments and biggest send-offs in WWE history, and it's what I remember this WrestleMania for. WWE finally decided that they should wind Ric Flair down. He was still competing in the ring from time to time in the WWE, but they figured they should let this guy retire and give the fans a moment. And what better place to do it but at WrestleMania? And I think they even let Flair choose his opponent, and Flair wanted to work with Shawn Michaels in his last match. And they started building up the angle and the storyline on TV, where I think it was Vince McMahon that actually told Ric Flair that you can keep wrestling, but the next time you lose a match, you are going to have to retire. So Ric Flair won a few, I think, on the road to WrestleMania. They announced the match with Shawn Michaels. Shawn even shows apprehension. He doesn't want to be the guy remembered for retiring Ric Flair. The match had a great epic feel to it. I remember the entrances. I remember the emotion because everybody knew that this was going to be it for Ric Flair. Nobody was expecting him to beat Shawn. So you knew that he was going to get beat, and it was going to be the last time we would think that we would ever see Ric Flair in the ring. And it's been the last time we've seen him in WWE. But what I like the best about it is that both guys went balls out in this match. It was actually a really good match. I mean, how good can a match with a 60-year-old Ric Flair be, really, at that point in 2008? But they took some incredible risks and some really good bumps, and there were some amazing spots and super kicks in this match. I love the one. I think my favorite one is where Ric Flair is just chopping Shawn Michaels in the middle of the ring, and then finally Shawn Michaels just takes one step back and bam, nails Ric Flair directly in the mouth with a super kick. I mean, you felt for Ric Flair. You knew it was over. He slowly gets back to his feet in a finish to a wrestling match where I've always said that if there was ever a museum or a physical hall of fame somewhere to pay tribute to professional wrestling, a tape loop of the finish of this match should be playing constantly because it is as good as it gets. Ric Flair pulls himself to his feet and just asks for it. Request to be executed by Shawn Michaels, and Shawn looks at him and says, "I'm sorry, I love you," and delivers the fatal blow to Ric Flair, pinning him for the 1-2-3, and then immediately laying on top of him and kissing him on the forehead and getting out of the ring quickly, limiting the exhausting play of Sexy Boy to the entire crowd, while Ric Flair gets to stand there in silence and the fans get to honor him for what a great wrestling career he had. You can't ask for anything more. If you're a professional wrestler, especially if you're someone with the legacy of a Ric Flair, when you think about how you're going to leave the wrestling business and how you're going to ride off into the sunset, Ric Flair got the greatest ride-off of all time. Of all time. The next night on Raw, who can ever forget that emotional farewell to Ric Flair with everybody coming out to the ring? I mean, it was awesome, you know, because it was such a great tribute and show of respect to what was such an amazing wrestling career. I mean, what Ric Flair did and his history and legacy in professional wrestling, he made a mark like no other. And I was so proud as a wrestling fan that night to see that match, to watch live Ric Flair wrestle in a match for the final time. And then to tune in less than 24 hours later and watch the big send-off for Ric Flair, and not to mention 48 hours before that, the night before WrestleMania, they induct him into the Hall of Fame. So this whole pay-per-view, this whole WrestleMania was really centered around the legacy and the career of Nature Boy Ric Flair, with the Hall of Fame, with the farewell match, retirement match against Shawn Michaels, and then the big send-off on Monday Night Raw. Every professional wrestler walking planet Earth should aspire to have that be their send-off. It's a shame that Ric Flair would ruin it. You know, I mean, I still have a sour taste in my mouth the way he took off his Hall of Fame ring and started working for TNA just because the price was right. He's never been quite as bad as Hogan, but Ric Flair has had some personal issues where just for some reason the older he gets, the dumber he gets. He has multiple wives and relationships and divorces. He's got kids that are dying of overdoses. He's had domestic incidents and run-ins with the law. He seems very, very irresponsible for somebody that should be very responsible and has a legacy to uphold and a celebrity status that he doesn't want to embarrass himself, and sometimes he does. It's nice to see him back now in the WWE with his daughter Charlotte as maybe a little bit of motivation for him to kind of calm the fuck down and realize that he doesn't have many years left on this earth and he might want to make the last few he has pleasant. So I'm happy that Ric Flair seems to be doing well today, but a little bit disappointed that he got back in the ring and wrestled a couple of years after this wonderful retirement match and WrestleMania weekend that the WWE gave to him.